da, da.
Where's the dance?
Oh, did you hear my tummy? It's just rumbling.
There's rumble. You are hungry.
They're starting to rumble.
We're gonna have to make you a salad.
That might, a salad, my body would go into complete shock.
I mean, we'll put a hunk of steak on it, but
Oh, okay, that's with a lettuce garnish.
yeah, some iceberg, some watered down iceberg.
Hey there, everyone. This is our virtual tasting we do here at Old North State Wineries. Chef Chris, Som Ed. We are here to taste wines so that you don't have to come out in this dreary weather that we're having.
Dreary it is.
And you can just sit at home on the couch and drink wine and laugh at us.
So what a great way to spend an hour.
Yeah, yeah. So we do this every week here in person, 6 p.m. downtown Mount Airy at Old North State Winery.
Thank you.
And we love it. We have anywhere from 20 to 40 people show up about every single week, rain or shine. And we look forward to seeing all those folks in person, but we also enjoy doing these videos for those of you that can't make it, have prior obligations, or just don't like being around Chris and I, which I totally understand that.
I respect that.
Yeah, I mean, at least you've come to terms with it. Chef, look at that cork. Isn't that precious? That's a
Wow.
high quality cork. It looks like an ink stamp.
You would put your crest on that and put it on your letter.
Absolutely. This is absolutely a well
That's a
stored
beautiful
wine. We're going to start off in France today. To our wine, we have 2 European wines today, and that's not really a surprise because that's what Chris and I usually drink most of the time.
Oh, how'd those get in there?
But honestly, we try to cover all the wines of the world over the course of how many years it's going to take. And we think that we tap into regions and winemakers that are important that you should know about. We've cut through a lot of the junk, I would say. There's a constant amount of wine being sent across our desks, so to speak, and we kind of decide, even if it's not to our taste, we realize what's classic and what people are looking for, and we try to bring those to you each and every week, and hopefully we're doing a good job of that. Don't forget to like and share and comment. If we're missing something, let us know. We'd love to try to track it down for you. Well, we're going to start in Burgundy. This is Clos d'Augustin. This is a producer that Chef Chris and I often use at the chef's table. It's probably, I would say, one of the probably top 10 recurring wines that we use. Not necessarily this vintage, but over the years we've used this producer's Pinot a ton at the chef's table because Chef does so many Frenchy things, and this wine really does set off his style, like different pâtés and duck and even seafood.
Oh, we've done it. You've paired this with seafood before, I believe.
Well,
Was it the scallop with the dashi, I believe you served that with once?
Yeah, that was lovely too. Yeah, the versatility of Pinot Noir is one of the most appealing things about it. It does not get in the way of food, it enhances food. And there's a reason why Burgundy is the most expensive wine region in the world, because people that know food and know wine know that Burgundy is the premier food wine region in the world. So we actually are very blessed to have something that really fits into our budget. Burgundy wines can be extremely expensive and extremely age-worthy in terms of they need the age. I'm not just talking about how great they are when they're old, but many times you've got to wait for them. This happens to be a 2019, and we are talking about in the Chalonnais region of Burgundy, and this one of the things that we're seeing, particularly in Burgundy, is where climate change is changing the ripeness of the Burgundy Pinot grape. So this is something that many would consider a very ripe vintage 2019, but it's only going to get riper if the trends continue, and that's okay with us because I know the purest of Burgundy don't like it because they like their mineral and earth first.
That dry first and that fruit second.
Yeah, but we are going to see more and more wines like this that are more fruit to begin with, and it's reminiscent of a New World style, but it still doesn't taste like New World. It's still at the core of it. It's still Burgundy, right?
It still has that dirt, and I hope you like cherry. Because this is working.
Yeah.
This is working. Freaked me out a little bit first when I first smelled. I
Mm.
taught you to open the Spanish one first. I
Right.
don't know if you know. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, wait. But I was like, oh, we're doing this one first. But,
Yeah, so this is then, and this is actually, not only is it a ripe Pinot Noir, but it's pretty big for a Pinot
it's
Noir.
big.
You know, and there's
It's big.
there's a beautiful
There's
dusty oak
Oh,
tannin
boy,
on
is
here,
Boy,
and that almost reminds me of that Lodi we had a couple weeks ago. you
yeah,
know?
good call.
And it almost has that type of tannins, a real dusty, fine. So of course you're gonna get that real nice dry finish. But Chef, you know, we talk about all these pairings that this is capable of. You know, you and I are huge fans of salmon and Pinot. That's
The
another.
fatty salmon with it. Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Tuna works great with it. There's just so many mushrooms. Just about, I can't think of a
I'm gonna say
mushroom.
keep going. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
stop.
it just
You can't
keeps
stop.
going and going. So if you're looking for a quintessential food wine, I think this is it right here. Of course, and we're talking about a bottle that's under $20 from Burgundy. Insane value here. And, you know, this is, you know, and of course, we don't typically do any sub $20 bottles at the chef's table. I can tell you that right now. But this is such a delicious wine, vintage after vintage, and the versatility of this particular producer and the availability of it. You know, we like you know, there's a lot of wines that we can get and it's like a one shot, you know, we gotta enjoy it and it's gone. And we long for those and we can't always get them. This one is pretty darn consistent in availability here in North Carolina. And so that's another reason why we keep going back to the well, so to speak.
What a great well it is.
Mhm.
Wow. This is a real treat. Thank you for sharing this with me and the group because this is a real treat.
Yeah, we've had these scraps quite a few nights.
They're better today for some reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little different at the end of a long night.
That's
But
true.
middle of the
They're palate
afternoon,
shot.
first thing you try, it's like home run.
You're right. Yeah, and I think that's
You know,
something.
I haven't had coffee and water all night and, you know,
Right.
a dry throat from
Yeah.
talking. And so when you're fresh and you try it, it has a totally different palate.
Totally.
To me.
That's a great point, Chef. You know, when you're tasting these wines, any wines, you know, be cognizant of what's going on. Are you tired? Are you maybe coming down with a cold? Are you did you just get back from a run? Is it early in the morning, late at night? Have you eaten, or have you overeaten? All of these.
Have you had something sugary first?
Sure.
You know, you
Yeah.
had a soda or something like that. You know,
Definitely.
so
Yeah.
I mean, having just
Or
I had-
something with citrus.
Citrus.
Like, you know,
Oh,
some people
absolutely.
put limes in
Lemonade
their,
or-
in their
yeah.
water,
in their water.
and it can affect the way you taste the wine or perceive the taste of the wine.
And
So,
I even had a big slug of water before I tasted it. So I was like, oh, my mouth feels dry. So I made sure to kind of
right.
refresh it. And man, this wine is even, and I thought it was fabulous every time we tried it. But I mean, it's even better.
Yeah, yeah.
These
Well, I think you're
conditions
probably
set the table.
like your taste buds are just like fresh and ready right
Honed
now.
in.
They're-
I haven't eaten since this morning, so their receptors are at their peak.
And I think that's something to consider out there, all you tasters. You know, if we're saying, hey, we really want you to try this wine, and you're like, Ed and Chris don't know what the heck they're talking about. This tastes like
Ever.
garbage.
Right.
Maybe, just maybe, there's an outside force that is affecting your perception of the wine. I'm not saying that is it, because we could certainly be well off. You know, everybody's tastes are different.
Yeah, not everybody likes what we like. So
That's
I
true.
mean, we'll have to come to terms with that.
And-
I don't know why that would ever happen, but everyone should be exactly like.
We're pretty open-minded, that's for sure. And this is a beautiful, you know, if you're not drinking French Pinots because they're cost prohibitive, well, here's a way to get in there.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, you're right. You're correct. But there are a few that can get you pretty darn close to the upper echelon without that big time price. And you know, I certainly would not, you know, put this up against the $800 Burgundy, but I would say that this is representative of the flavors, but in a more modern style because of the warmth that they're getting in Burgundy now.
But
So,
with the dustiness of this, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, this has got some great structure.
oh, it's beautiful.
So, I mean, you could, this would be an ideal, I think, a candidate to get a case, lay it down, 10 years from now, you're selling that for $200.
Quite possibly. There's
Because this is going to, I feel like this is going to age like some of the big dog burgundies.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to find out, but unfortunately, Chris and I drink them all before they age.
I meant someone else. Someone else
Yeah.
should buy it and sell it.
Yeah, so if y'all have that patience, go for it. We're gonna keep drinking them.
Thank goodness.
So, Chef, our beloved virtual guests, when they pick up their bottles of wine, you always put some delicious food in there with it. What do you got in mind this
Oh, I'm
week?
just following your lead. I'm going to do a salmon belly with roasted mushrooms.
Beautiful.
I didn't have anything in my head. Listen
Perfect.
to you talking about your favorite pairings. That's what we're having.
That's two in
You're
one.
driving.
That's 2 in 1, because the mushrooms and the salmon.
There you're going to get the combo.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah,
love
That's
it.
going to be terrific.
And I particularly like belly meats.
Me too.
Man.
The fat gets so extraordinarily crisp
Mhm.
without it affecting, but the
It's not
texture.
greasy.
It's not greasy,
Yeah.
and but yet the texture is still very creamy.
Mhm.
Even with that rock solid crust on it, you're not sacrificing texture to get that crunch. It's just one of the most perfect.
It always
Pieces.
horrifies me when people cut that and throw it in the trash. I'm like,
Sometimes I do. If I'm cleaning 40 pounds. I
oh,
don't have
I'm just
anything
I'm just
going on
saying,
there.
like in general,
In
like
general.
some people that's their go-to. They never even consider it as a delicious.
So if I only have a little bit of salmon or a whole lot of salmon, I do.
Mhm.
But I love sneaking it into things. I like to use salmon belly as an ingredient too,
Yeah.
not just like this is what we're having. I love to slide it into like salads and purees and things
I was
like
hoping
that.
you were gonna say peanut butter and jelly and just
And
slide it in
I
there.
just like to slide
no
them
one would
in
notice.
people's pockets. Like here's some salmon belly, and you're like later when you take
Like,
your
what is
wallet
that?
out. Oh, that's that salmon belly we had from earlier.
Gently poached in your hip pocket.
And tumbled.
Right.
You know how a lot of times if you cook something in
Yeah.
one spot,
You're
it,
right.
it won't be even.
That's right.
This way, your natural movements are going to take care of that.
Hmm. Are you cooking dinner or not, Chef?
Yeah. I guess the family will expect that.
Are you gonna go? You don't know what you're making. This
Yeah, I bought a couple of T-bones the other
week?
day.
Ooh.
They had them over there in that little special shelf.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way. Thank
T-bones are, that used to be the thing when I was a
you.
kid.
You know, right?
T-bones
And
are-
I've got to tell you, I bought a lot lately because they're always over in like the junk bin
Yeah.
because they're not selling.
Right, because people don't know.
So I swoop in
Yeah.
twice a week and buy them up because I use them for tacos.
Oh yeah.
I use them on salads. I'll take all the scraps. I'll take the bones and make stock. I
Oh,
take
yeah,
the end
make a bone
pieces,
broth,
the
yeah.
end pieces into soup. I mean, I'm getting paid on these things.
That's right.
Not only are they half price,
Yeah.
but I'm turning them into 3 different meals and the building blocks for something else. So, what would normally be like $45, I'm spending like 24, 25, and I'm feeding 5 people
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah. And yeah.
And, I bulk it up with vegetables and
Oh,
things
yeah,
like that.
definitely.
Once you make tacos, the meat is just like one of
7,
8
yeah.
ingredients. So I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like falling out of the shell.
Right.
And
That'd
of
be-
course, in soup too, I make big hearty soups.
Right.
So the beef is a flavoring, not like the ingredient.
Yeah, it's great about those T-bones too. Like they're like if you threw them down into like into something that's already simmering, it's easy to retrieve.
Right.
It's just like
Seasons it all
Yeah.
up, and it's kind of like how remember we used to take our the bouquet garni and
Yeah,
tie
yeah.
it in cheesecloth,
Yep.
and you would drop that into
Yeah.
the fumet or stock, and then you just pull the whole thing. You have to deal all the time.
Right.
Leaves or
Oh,
the
yeah.
bay, the bay
Yeah.
laurel falling apart.
Yeah, it's funny. Before I started doing that, I thought that was like showmanship, and then I realized it's like,
Genius.
oh my god, it's like,
clean. It's
yeah.
clean and genius,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
probably I'll start
And
doing
it's
that.
Nice little infusion.
I've been braising those bison short ribs for months now. It seems like all I do is braise now, and but every time I put everything in there, I'm like, God, I should put that in cheesecloth. I'll be fishing that
Yeah,
out.
when you're out
for
fishing,
20
yeah,
hours,
yeah.
fishing all this stuff out.
Well, it's such a rustic dish. You don't think about it.
No,
it's like
no.
almost like a contradiction of sorts.
It is, but and I guess it's really more like the seafood, the really bright fumés where you're trying to keep it clean, or like the base of a consomme.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not, the impurities aren't hopping out there, but yeah. Yeah, not as many people at home tonight, Chef. I've got Isabel will be at church. Of course, we moved Sam off to college in Charlotte, so he's not around anymore.
Oh yeah.
And I made a casserole for Megan, so she'll eat that early. She'll hang out with us, but she won't eat with us tonight because she likes to eat early in the winter.
Yeah.
Like 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah. She's on the sundial.
She's on the sundial.
Mhm.
So it'll just be 3 of us. It's getting weird at the house, man. Kids everywhere. Running
So
around.
Lauren will be there, right?
Lauren,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
To me, so Miss Wishart and Lauren and I will.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, so we got that. So we got our pairing for our Pinot, which was absolutely stunning. I hope everyone out there is
Great
enjoying
idea.
that. And let's talk about our next wine. Now this one's got some age. We are now in 2023, which is, you know, if you told me when we were kids that we lived to see 2023, I'd laugh right in
You
your
laughed
face.
in your face, and
Yeah.
of course, you know, yesterday was January 2nd, but apparently it's the 25th. So I mean, like even
Time's
now,
flying.
where I mean, we've already lost this month.
I know, right?
This is supposed to be like the recalibrate month. You know, where you know, it's dark and cold, and you're supposed to like slow down and review the year and
Yeah.
plan it out. I haven't been able.
No.
I blinked.
I haven't even got
I've been
my.
so busy all month.
What is it? Those things you do at New Year's?
Resolutions.
Resolute. I didn't got to those yet.
I mean, I was going to do all these things for this year coming. I haven't done any of them except work.
Oh wait, I think we did do one. We
Drink
said
more
we're gonna
wine.
drink more wine. So we are checking that box.
Congratulations.
Great job, chef. Keep up the good work.
Cheers. Cheers to you at home too.
Well, this
Way
is
to not be a quitter.
this is a big boy Grenache.
Boy,
This
is it.
is from the region Montsant, which is up in Catalonia. It surrounds essentially, basically surrounds like in a C shape, around a little bitty Priorat, and it kind of wraps around it. Priorat, of course, is one of our favorites.
Whoa.
You know, whenever the
Boy, that
Christmas
hallowed
come
ground
Yeah.
there, yeah.
I think they're the only 2 bigger fans of Priorat that we know are the Criscas. When they come in here, they always order Priorat. It's a very special part of
In
the
the
world.
snows.
This, yeah, that's true. And so these are, Montsant is like kind of, like I said, it circles it. It's a bigger area than Priorat, but these are still not massive areas. And they are known for, what I would say, kind of intense, with a mineral-driven note in them that makes them special. This is a 2016 garnatxa, and they call this Obsession because of their obsession with the grape garnatxa, or you might know it in France as Grenache. So we have a ton of alcohol here, Chef, and I love how prominently they have this.
Well,
Yeah,
that's it. They
I mean,
know
like-
how to hide it. You
I
know, they're
mean,
like trying to put it under the rug.
I don't know.
Can I put a butterfly over
You
this?
can probably, well, you have the bottle at home, but I mean, like, no one,
I mean,
this
no
is
one
like,
does that.
everything's in tiny print, and then you have this giant 15% on here. And usually I'm like looking on the label, like,
And it's
where's
such,
the
and
ABV
it's
to
such
hide
a
it?
place of prominence. It's not just the font size.
Right.
It's the location
It's
of
like,
it too.
first things first.
Hey, guess what?
This is loaded
Here's your
with delicious
seatbelt.
alcohol. And I gotta tell you though, I wouldn't say that this is alcoholic.
Not drinking that way. I actually was
I wouldn't say
surprised
it's
when you
hot.
showed that to me. I was, it is not drinking like a 15%er.
Well, this is another one of those wines that we had on deck at the chef's table, and I've yet to have that dish yet. The chef is, you know, we have tons of wine just waiting for that dish, and we just haven't hit it yet. And so I was sitting there, I was like, well, why don't we just show it to some folks, because I like it and I want to share it, and I just haven't had a chance to. Of course, we've got lots of chef's tables coming up,
Yep.
and maybe there'll be an opportunity for it in the near future, but
Well,
right now she's just been sitting on the bench.
And my lamb game has been really weak. And, I remember you were saying
Yeah.
that you would like this with lamb off camera. And it just kind of shamed me into thinking about how little lamb I've been doing. And that's,
How dare you?
I'm really though. I mean, I
Oh,
should
gosh.
do more.
No, chef, you are very good at feeling the rhythm on your menu, so I don't think anyone's ever had a problem with that for sure. So you don't try to force things in your menu. That's what I like about you.
Well, I just wish I had some praised land there too.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that too. This is from Domenech. They make beautiful wines, and like I said, in the Catalonia, Montsant region. This is a region that Chef Chris and I have always adored, and particularly just northern Spain in general. I think we'll probably start digging a little deeper into Spain this year because I've been so focused on South Africa. I just really need to kind of start getting into Spain a little bit more. You know, we do love it, and of course, there is no country that has more land dedicated to vines than Spain. They have more acreage of vines than any other country, and that should tell you something of the importance. Now, of course, Chef Chris and I do a lot with cava because we find that cava and it's not even like they're trying to be champagne. They are their own beverage.
They're happy.
It drinks
They're
different.
happy to be caught.
It drinks different, and for the wine, for the food that you're doing at the chef's table, it lends itself to cava.
It's always a big hit, and I love it when we get the wine people in and they see the cava and they.
Oh yeah,
You know,
the geeks.
the people who know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're more excited to see a geeky cava than they are old champagne house.
I totally agree, Chef. There's
That's always fun to
something
watch.
so commercial about champagne. You know, and that you have one house pumping out 25 million a year.
Well, and
it's hard to.
Even the old dogs, like the really high end, expensive, the Moets, the Doms, the Clicquots, they don't have the character of a lot of these.
Right. They're-
Weird, like the English and the
Yeah,
Spanish.
yeah.
As far, I mean, like that brings so much. I mean, and I'm not.
No.
You want to pour? You
I
pour
want
me
to-
all the Moet
Yeah.
you
Keep
want.
'em coming. I got one
I'm
dry.
not- Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
just that you know what you're getting.
You're not making mimosas.
You're
with
not,
them.
but you're also not gonna. You really know what to expect, and it is a creamy treat. But I'm not sure. Knowing what I've learned from you, I would never drop $100 on a French champagne house ever again.
Yeah, it's
Unless
there's
it
too
was
many-
like a
there's too many.
quirky little one out there, but
Right.
like the big 3 or 4, nope, never
Yeah.
do it again.
Yeah. So this.
Unless it's a gift.
Yeah, well, and we will drink the F out of it.
You
Oh
better.
my lord, that was close. That was a close
Wish
one,
you would have
Chef.
done it.
That was close. I'm
I
still.
came close last week.
I've
you
only
came
cussed.
close
I've only
here.
cussed once, and you probably will never let me forget that out there.
I love it.
But anyway, so let's talk about this beautiful garnatxa. It is aged to perfection. There is so much complexity in this glass from the time it hits your nose.
It's this is a. It's like you found a wild horse out there in the desert, you know, and you.
I love where this is going.
You halfway tamed it enough to.
He's thirsty.
Been running hard, no water. The
It's a thirsty horse.
yeah, it's wild yet you trained it enough to win a race. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Like
good.
he'll let you on him, but no one else.
No one else.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And you're pretty darn nervous the whole time.
pretty
you're up
much. Pretty much. Like I don't know how long this contract's gonna last.
there. Like, let's get this race done so I get off this
I don't know
horse.
how many more apples I have in my bag.
Yeah, there's tons of. That's funny that you say that because I was getting some apple acidity on this.
Yes.
There is so much
A red apple.
animal. There's so much kind of.
Fur. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Hide.
not a
Hide.
hide. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
When you
Yes.
said horse, I was like, oh, he
Yeah.
is gonna be on to something on this one. And you
No,
know,
the hide. That's a
yeah, it is.
Yes.
And I wouldn't
Yes.
say.
not like
Not
a
as much
fly
as-
infested hide.
No.
but like a-
When I'm not talking about leather. I'm talking about like a
No,
living.
You're rubbing
Mhm,
a
yeah.
horse in the barn, and in that hide.
Mhm.
This is great.
And there's this like super dry fruit here, dried and dry fruit.
Currant,
Yeah,
like a
big time.
dried currant, dried
Yeah.
cranberry.
Yeah, and
Maybe
there's
not cranberry. Fig.
it's high tone. It's high tone. Yeah, and there is some richness underneath, and you know it could be almost like almost to me like if it were like a plum liqueur without the sweetness.
Well, without the
Without the
sweetness,
sweetness.
absolutely. And I would normally apply this to a white wine, but I'd even say like like a really dry apricot.
Mhm.
I think the high tone, and I don't know why because normally I'll mix apricots in with richer fruits to stew, and it just kind of works in this.
To me, also the mention of apple, apple skin.
Oh yeah,
The tannins
The
or apple
tannins,
skin tannins.
especially right when you're cutting it, and
Mhm.
it's just really
Like
that
little
perfume, that little
effervescence, or
effervescence.
those cells, like when you're popping those cells up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a York, like a red York apple or yeah,
Mm.
fabulous.
Absolutely delicious, and it's haunting. It will keep you diving back into the bottle.
It is.
Which I'm gonna
just-
do right now. Would you like another taste, Chef?
Please, I forgot to drink what you poured me first.
Whoops.
Thank you very much.
So this
It's so grippy. It grips your not just your palate, but it literally is like gripping, hanging around.
I
it's
totally agree with that. There's also, some organic material here. It could be decomposed mushroom type things, decomposed leaves or something of that nature. Forest floor.
Forest floor, but a fall forest floor, not a fern forest floor.
Right.
When you're getting the fiddleheads and all those popping up in the spring, a totally different onset. This is to me a very fall, dried leaf, mushroom,
And when
pine cone.
the current is getting stronger to me,
Mhm.
and when I really pull a lot of air across it, it kind of extracts the alcohol out. Because the alcohol is so hidden here. But when I was just really pulling a lot of air over it, I could get more of the alcohol fumes coming in.
Yeah, and that.
This is 15%. I was questioning it because it just doesn't taste alcoholic to me, but on that last pull and looking at the tears in your glass, they are sluggish.
Slow. They are
not in a
turtling
hurry.
down here.
Yeah, they're not in
And
a hurry.
now the plum and nectarines coming out in this, and it's it's warming up a little bit. First of all,
That's a good point.
And
It's
so-
pretty.
so-
we're in a pretty cool
it was tight.
environment.
It was
Mhm.
tight and cool,
Yeah.
and she needed to bloom a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Of course, Chef's office here is in the barrel room. It's just that
If you
whole
need to store
direction.
some meat. or
That's why
something,
he's wearing these in most of our videos. It's freezing down
Yeah,
here.
you could store meat in here. I mean, this is a root cellar. It's so cold.
Mm. That is fancy, delicious. It's so ready to drink, but I don't know if I could call it quaffable because it just makes
It's
you
not
stop
quaffable.
and think.
Well, and you can't. I mean, it's so big. It's like a huge roadblock. It's just going down. I mean, I'm not ready for another sip, even if I were ready for another
Yeah,
sip.
like my hand
It
wants
won't
it.
physically let it. It's
My
like
hand
staying-
wants to do it.
I know,
I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's just staying right there, and it's just fabulous.
What a fun, geek out type of one. And well, now I guess you need to decide what you're gonna do with it. I mean, you could literally do just about anything that has
Yeah,
fat.
I mean, like we were talking. I had in my head I wanted to do those beautiful ribs I spent so long on today. I wonder if it's gonna crush those.
I don't know. I think Spanish wine goes so
Yeah,
well
less
with
pork. I'm not gonna do the sauce on the pork though.
Okay.
I'm gonna do. I did a rub. I did a dry rub on the ribs, and these are pork ribs we're talking.
And they're fatty and
They're
greasy,
fatty
probably.
and,
the dryness here.
And there's
the tannins.
fennel and pepper and garlic and all these things
Yeah.
in the rub that are going to brisk it up. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that with the and just have some chocolate lab with the ribs.
Little cheese.
Just a little cheese, that stout brushed
Yeah.
cheese.
And then if y'all wanted to venture out on your own and slap something like probably vinegar based.
Vinegar and mustard and maybe I'll do. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put some on the side.
There you go.
I'm gonna do it in a little container and see. You can kind
Use
of.
it at your own risk, and also it'd be a great exercise for you guys out there to try it both ways and see what you think, and you can feed back.
Yeah,
to
let
our-
us know what you
Yeah.
think. And of course, I don't like sauce on ribs. I like a dry rub rib. I like to just
Yeah,
eat them. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't want them swimming in sauce, but I
Right.
get it.
Yeah.
I totally
oh
get
yeah,
it. I like sauce on barbecue, like old-fashioned barbecue, but I don't like them on ribs. Not that I don't like the flavor. I don't like the mess.
yeah.
I want to taste the meat,
Oh,
and that's why I do an overly seasoned dry rub because I feel like the fatty ribs have enough sauciness to them
Mhm.
But you know, of course, this barbecue that we make, you know, it's lusty monk mustard, cider vinegar, garlic, tomato, a little bit of citrus. So it's not like ketchup. You know, I mean,
No.
it's not like brown sugar ketchup. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a complex sauce, so it's fine. It's just this wine, man. I just want it to. I don't want to throw a lot at it. You know, there's a lot of flavor. There's a lot of. I want some purity with this.
I
wine.
get that, I too, and I mean, even though it's huge, I see what you're saying, you don't wanna get in this way,
I don't
but,
want to knock all the nuance off of this thing with a
Because-
bunch of sauce.
because it is big in flavor, but it's not big in body.
No,
You know,
it's
it's more
just-
like medium plus. You know, it's more in lines with the kind of wines that you and I drink anyway. We're Barolo, we're Southern Rhone.
Mhm.
I mean, you can read through it. I mean, you can see through it. I mean,
It's
not.
a little
not
darker
huge.
than Barolo.
Yeah, oh,
but,
yeah.
but not much.
Yeah,
Not much. I just
Shadow
don't
enough.
want to. I don't want to. I don't want to.
there's shed enough color.
Yes.
You know, it is Grenache. You know, and our Grenache based.
I really want everybody to enjoy the nuances of this wine
Mm-hmm.
before the sauce comes into play.
Agreed. I think, and a big sauce will oftentimes impede your judgment on a wine rather.
And this gorgeous cheese is brushed with fresh cocoa and stout beer. So I mean, this is not a silly little cheese. I
Dry
mean,
on dry.
Yeah, it's a big cheese.
Because there's those tannins in cocoa.
And the
Yeah.
cocoa and the tannins, absolutely.
And that would.
It'll pick up.
And we were last week at last week's tasting, I think it was, or maybe it was a week before. One of the things that kept popping up when I would ask people, you know, every now and again, you know, I just get tired of talking about what I think about wine, and I say, hey, what do y'all taste? And a lot of people were saying cocoa, which I love to hear that because
That's great.
yeah,
That's great.
that's one of those, you know, as our I don't know, students, our class or our group, as they're evolving with their descriptions and understanding, and when they say things like that, it makes me feel really happy because they're getting it.
Their brains are expanding.
They're working. They're
with all these
focusing.
things, yeah.
Yeah,
That's when your brain meets your palate.
right.
When you start dropping geeky terms
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that collectively without hints.
Yeah, without
you,
hints.
you know the brain's catching up with your
Yep.
palate.
Mhm.
So cool.
Well, that is a treat. Well, we have a bunch of stuff coming up, Chef. We got wine and chocolate. Is that
Wine
next
and
Sunday?
chocolate next Sunday. Not it'll be a week
The
from
5th,
this Sunday,
right?
the
5th
5th.
of February.
That's
gonna
also
probably do a video.
available to go.
We're gonna do a video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do a video of that.
So you'll have two videos. So you'll have the pairing
The Thursday night. Yeah.
plus the wine and chocolate one. So we
Right.
will offer that to go.
Yeah, and we've already got quite a few people loaded up on that reservation on Sunday, and then right after that, we're moving into Valentine's week, where Valentine's falls on the following Tuesday, but we're going to be doing Valentine's stuff on Friday and Saturday. Our chef's table on Saturday is already filled up. We're starting to now put people in on Valentine's proper, which is the 14th. I think a lot of people do their Valentine's celebrating on the weekend, whether it be before or after the weekend.
And we're seeing that. We're seeing the
Yeah.
weekend populate.
The chef's
before the
table
day.
filled up immediately.
Tuesday's a tough chef's table.
It is.
Even with the
But-
Valentine's
Yeah,
Day,
because
like
people have to work.
corporations don't recognize Valentine's
No.
Day. Like we'll
No.
see your ass on Wednesday morning. So celebrating Friday, Saturday makes a lot of sense. Where you can still enjoy yourself and then have that
Yeah.
celebratory recognition of
The,
the holiday. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The chocolate, the wine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chocolate, the
and
wine.
the wine. It all goes. It goes inside.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I'm such a degenerate. I'm so sorry.
G-Gin.
Anyway, we want to offer that to you guys out there in virtual land, that we will have the chocolate pairing, and if you are available for Friday night, Saturday night, Tuesday night, so that would be the 10th, 11th, 14th for dinner service. Saturday night is filled up on chef's table. We do have that Tuesday chef's table if that's something you're interested in, a 7-course wine pairing dinner with this guy preparing right in front of you and drinking extremely high-end wines.
High end, and be advised, we're doing the Valentine's prefix menu. We're not doing an a la carte menu. It's prefix Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday.
Right, and there's
So-
been a lot of people asking about that.
So that's kind of
That's always a huge hit.
Huge
People are
hit.
asking if we're gonna do that again.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that makes us so happy because
Yeah.
we're always so nervous when we do
Sure.
something.
Out of the,
Well, it's not a big deal for Ed and I to do something out of the ordinary. Sure, we'll do a prefix, we'll do a chef day, we'll do a catering. But when we take the mothership
Yeah.
and turn that into something, we always get a little.
well, there's no chicken salad. Right?
There's, I mean, no.
I was gonna take my special girl out
Yeah,
for Valentine's.
it's
There,
split.
a chicken
Split a
salad.
chicken
Right?
salad and
And have some water with lemon.
and the answer's no.
So there's a few days of the year where we don't have a budget menu. We are very inclusive here. We've never shied away from having low priced items
Yep.
that are high quality. We've never been so pretentious.
We're a neighborhood place.
Yeah, we're a neighborhood place. But there's a time where we become, the destination for your romantic needs, and so we have to pump the brakes on the chicken salad right now.
And we do, and we like it, and we love that our clientele loves that, and we have a responsibility too. If you've got a dining room full of people dressed up celebrating, you don't
Yeah.
want to sit beside somebody
Yeah,
slugging Mick Ultras and splitting chicken
not
salad.
that there's anything wrong with that.
Actually, I love that at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing you should have at home, or
on Wednesday. Come out.
on some other Tuesday.
Come on out
Yeah.
on the
Come out.
15th, and we'll be back to normal.
We'll be rolling them up for you.
Right back to normal on the 15th.
Icing them down and rolling them up.
Roll them up
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah, so we appreciate all of you out there for all the different ways you support us. You just don't know what it means to us. We've had a wonderful January this year, and we're looking forward to a magnificent February, and then March is Portugal.
Portugal.
So my brother gets married the first Saturday in March, and
Huge.
then this guy is dragging me to Portugal.
Kicking and screaming. I
Even-
don't want to
and
go.
I did not want to go. I don't believe in great
Don't wanna
wine.
go.
I just want to
And
sit.
those views,
I just want to sit home and drink
those
Mick
cultures, and those cultures. No thanks.
Gosh, there's probably a bunch of hot blondes there too. Jeez,
Yeah, Lord.
wouldn't that be terrible?
Real quick before we sign off, we'll send a shout out.
Wait, wait. I don't have anything to post.
Thank you. We lost a legend on Sunday. Our friend Bob Meineke succumbed to his battle with his COPD, and Bob Meineke was such an incredible cheerleader and ambassador of Old North State and North Carolina wines. Worked with him with countless bud breaks, so many things. He was always active in the community. Really believed in this town, believed in the folks here. He was a good friend and someone I always looked up to and I hope to emulate in my life. And we lost a legend, and we're going to cheers to your life. May we all be so lucky. We'll miss you, Bob.
I miss you, Bob. We sure do appreciate all that support from him and his family, and our thoughts and prayers are headed their direction per usual, but even now more so than
More
ever.
so than ever.
Hey, I have a lot of beautiful friends out there watching. I appreciate you supporting us, and we look forward to seeing you all in person when possible. Until next week,
Deuce, take care. Thank y'all for being with us.